Crazy mess. This is what really makes me me, y'all, at its core. So check it out. I arrived in 1970, August 14th, to be precise. Eldest son, firstborn of 5, alive as the Christ. Had sunny days, just like I had spooky nights, which accounts for my old lows and my newly heights. Childhood, not of the norm. Excellence, how I perform. Deep down, I was mad, that's why now I bring the storm. Memorize Psalms and other passages of scriptures after learning the Quran to fend off the jinn's whispers. It was like my mother and father tried to hide us for the Pontius Pilates, Heroes, and other outsiders. No celebrating holidays, kept away from ungodly ways of playing games, calling names the cost of what folly pays. I'm saying you wouldn't believe such discipline, wishing to make friends with the neighborhood children. But it was like wish again from early on. Was taught I was different, not better, just gifted. There's a big difference. Had telescopes, microscopes, chemistry sets, books, maps, paints, carpentry tools, wrote poems not yet known as raps. Learned alphabets and mathematics from my mama. Learned meditation and martial arts from my father. Watched my uncles create music, so I beat drums, played keyboards with my dad, the guitar he strummed. Didn't consume pork nor beef. I would eat plums, not knowing this was part of who I would become. True story. This is based on real life. It's before all the jail feel nice. The genius within me, the angel of light. High vibrations, it's what it feels like. True story. This is based on real life. This before all the jail feel nice. The genius within me, the angel of life. High vibrations, now around it feels like 1982 was no longer separated from the outside world off the porch. Yep, I made it. First noticed her standing in my b-boy stance. Leapt at the chance and began to break dance on wooden floors. I got sore from the workout. It was me, Chili T, my man Shabazz, Muhammad, and Phil G. When I met her on 93rd, next Jeffrey Manor, master of all crews, was written on my banner. The manner of my approach. Yo, I rocked her. World with backspins, atomic flares, and helicopters, hella proper. Guys that were awesome, tried to get fresh. Up at Basma and on commercial, attempted to test a bus moves on linoleum. Loved her on cardboard, roughed it off on concrete with combinations I had stored. Poured my heart into her around the time I met Dula, Yusef, Rashid, Stony Island Park, CVS, School, the battleground, found passion. Another element turned my heart into graffiti, evidence of being present. Taggers united together, network of writers who most times put all-nighters. True riders, 1987, we were kings of the line. Won the epic war with Sass on the dead rhyme. My guys, Dickie, Tron, advanced planes have advantage. I do this for you and the true TUT clan is the bandits. True story, it's based on real life. This before all the jail feel nice. The genius within me, the angel of light. High vibrations, it's what it feels like. True story, based on real life. This before all of jail feel nice. The genius within me, the angel of life. High vibrations, is what it feels like. Let's clear this up. I am the great matriarchs, give to America, rare, uncut, sun complected, yet the wretched of the earth. Though my old blood's possession, some shed the most rejected. Nevertheless, check the record of my birth. Never read a book for knowledge of myself. The silence I felt, not from wildness of wealth, but from rawness of my breath. I received meditatively. My mother and father educated me. I author faith creatively. I've walked through a few schools of thought that truth is art and has no cause, yet the cause of everything. Falsehood is law, yet the manifest of right. What's in darkness comes to light. These words Timothy didn't write, that didn't quite shit well with a gang of y'all. When it comes to fiction, hell, truth is stranger, y'all. I came to y'all to bring the fault of a government that's been de facto and the enemy of so-called black folks. I mixed with being realistic and admit it. How's it we've allowed this shit from golden fire now cryptic? Are y'all complicit in spirit with the metaverse? Metaphysics also makes me America's curse. I'm not in competition with men or women. I'm defending my household from those who are pretending, garbed and skinned the same as us, taking up the same name as us, who attempt to claim the same reign as us. Y'all be satisfied with societies like Westworld, where Bernard's really Arnold. Dolores is your best girl. Universal soldier, our robot is now the task force. The vast passport is on its own crash course. With or without y'all, I'ma own my role and bring fire upon them. That's on my soul. Y'all waiting for the Galactic Federation to come save y'all. Another United Nations site out to further enslave y'all.
In this primordial realm of Tiamat, she has some younger children in a nutshell. One by Marduk, which is known as Marduk in one mythology, which is known as Amun-Ra in another mythology, which is known as Yahweh in another mythology, which is known as Zeus in another mythology. She had these younger gods and went to war with her and one of her consorts called Kingu, which was one of her earlier sons and her consorts. She went to war with them, and they went to war with Tiamat, and these primordial gods, this primordial god was defeated by her son, Marduk. Zeus, Amun-Ra, or Yahweh, or any of the male deities. So that male deity destroyed the mother principle.
I'm in my own zone, within my own home. I'm in my own throne, my own skin, no clone. On long going in for the wind, ozone, 10 toes strong, closed doors are opening, siphoning my own tone, microphoning my own song, on my own right and my own wrong. My own masters, I'm my own master, in debt to my own loan. I'm in my own zone, within my own home. I'm in my own throne, my own skin, no clone. I'm in my own zone, from the hip to the thigh bone, from the lip to the microphone. I'm like a disciple stone, yet much larger than this fleshly vessel, more like an architectural lecture with its trestle board. Polished and tougher, I embraced the struggle, broke free from the dome, I escaped the bubble. They say trust your signs for somebody's line. Try my patience, I'm aligned with Mother Nature, frying these agents of this dying matrix. I'm in my own zone, within my own home. I'm in my own throne, my own skin, no clone. Since 1970, there I was born. Robert Taylor's 92nd Axis, Buckingham to one. First Sister Claire Muhammad School, then Fellowship Christian Academy. Just before I went public, still stuck with self adamantly. Spark from the infinite. See the sun, I'm equivalent. The eminent instrument of the eminent village militant. Break down in increments. Rid the land of immigrant, misogynist and feminist. Restore the innocent. Half-rich of Indians. Round pegs and square holes. Kindred spirits and rare souls. Discard the scarecrows. Better yet, the straw man. Pebbleboard rhetoric of the law man. It was us Europeans saw and ever since squatted on our land. Slaughtered our clans. Charted our shares, auctioned us through birth certificates, social security, bartered our branch of census, or the doll's rolls, religious books, or lost scrolls. Everywhere we turn, crossroads, to relearn or more, it's most mode. I'm not talking horse code. Purge the family tree, they've infected the bloodlines of the autochthonous Niji, brought with them disease, their pale-faced Slavic Maytags, Gregorian calendar holidays, turned the rainbow to a gay flag. They made treaties with tribes they recognized federally, ineffably. They were in cahoots with the Iroquois Confederacy. It's my destiny, along with the ancient ones, to return for everything they owe. I don't mean government-sanctioned funds. I got other artistic notions of mine that's high-flown, because the land's fly-blown. Look for me in a cyclone. Great spirit, quicken my bones. I'm a true and living soul, son of the great matriarch. My heart glistening gold. Everyone wants to walk in the sun with her, but she'll run to the one who'll dance in the rain for her until it's done. I'm in my own zone, Within my own home, I'm in my own throne. My own skin, no clone. On long going in for the wind, ozone, 10 toes strong, closed doors are opening, siphoning, my own tone, microphone, my own song, on my own right and my own wrong, my own masters, I'm my own master, in debt to my own loan, I'm in my own zone, within my own home, I'm in my own throne, my own skin, no clone, I'm in my own zone, within my own home. Because the land's fly blown, look for me in a cyclone. Microphone, my own song, my own skin, no clone. And that still be once them foreigners are long gone. Oh, shio, to my knees, J Bravo, Bravo. Plenty much gratitude for this collabo. Yes. It's been a long time since Greensville, bro, stopped. Yet we here now. And the ancestors said to fuck some shit up. So here we are. Check it out. Is it the Great Reset or the Great Awakening? Great America or make America great again? Zombie apocalypse or a space invasion from an alien, or is it enemy or a fake friend? Artificial intelligence and clones are scriptural. Is it miracle or a spell cast magic ritual? Is it religion or is the path spiritual? Is the class pan-African but status aboriginal? I'm not here to debate or be argumentative. A little bit of common sense to dictate we are innocent. Their intent is to slip the start of as if they swift with our children who's being robbed of their fifth. Human trafficking, child sacrifice, adrenochrome, corrupt government in position to defend its own. You part of the resistance for sure. They gon' send a drone for a live fact checking, but I been in a zone since I been home. Been on some let's chat down Babylon, Jericho, whatever name you give it, but let's rally on. With or without you, I'm still gonna tally on. They say this is the end time, so I'ma in the finale strong. Social media got you foolish, been a metaverse. Before the earth fully heals, it's gonna get hella worse. Got to be the living word, cut out that dead letter curse. So when you spit it to existence, manifest a better verse. In the light of the full moon, you'll soon see Tuttle share full bloom, a black sun pour dome down on these Molech worshippers, burglars of the eternal furniture of the temple of the grand furbisher. Elijah was the precursor. Y'all didn't hear him though. Instead, y'all condemned him as if he were a criminal. Whether mothership or mother wit, we back with a vengeance. Return of the ancient ones, American engine. Operation Mockingbird, the same thing as Hunger Games. Ensure that your food truly the cause of the hunger pains. Is who honestly a doctor? Are they phantoms of the opera proctors of Silicon Valley? And Big Pharma is Operation Naomi, America's top thing that poses for the MK Ultra program. And these doses of nanotech, these tests of swabs up their noses from youngest to oldest to inoculate this COVID. Are they the deep state or are we in a deep state? We say we got our eye open, it's more like we sleep wait. Is it about enlightening or do you expose shit for clout in life which opposes a true socialist with this double-edged sword? I'm a true vocalist, I'm supposed to spit war upon you globalists and your 21 and 2030 agendas as the women weep for me. I'm a worthy avenger. In the light of the full moon, you'll soon see Tuttle she in full bloom, a black sun pour dome down on these Molech worshippers, burglars of the eternal furniture of the temple of the grand furbisher. Elijah was the precursor. Y'all didn't hear him though. Instead, y'all condemned him as if he were a criminal. Whether mothership or mother wit, we back with a vengeance. Return of the ancient ones, American engines. Respect to all the real Aboriginal Neezies out there. Keep on fighting, y'all. Feathers up. My work is to wealth.
Good for us. Eat all the words.
Every transaction, if you will, of life. And nothing more that can be done through music, it can be done through art, it can be done through conversations like this. Oh, Sharice, how are you feeling? All should be balanced, and great spirit willing, As master of ceremony, I rise to my feet and take 3 deep breaths before I proceed to speak. Exhale first to the zenith, ground and the sun. Next ancestors who left or have yet to come. Each person has a specific vocation and mission to carry out is better with imagination and vision. Everyone's task is unique and can't be replaced. They may copy property, yet spirit can be traced. Footprints washed away, imprint can't be erased. Image may be tarnished, but aura can be defaced. I'm just like you, like way back in the day again. Time and distance separated us, but we stay friends. Our mistakes and poor decisions we made amends. You took trips from the shot to VA when I was caged in. That's a whole bunch of driving. Visits were ritual, kept me with a visual. Effect was residual. Our words reciprocal, visible in the physical. From the annals of sheep steps up from the biblical. Who show finds a wife, finds a good thing. One who sure to feed you bread, wine, and will bring a crown to your head. Prepare to have us with you and could sing. Songs to a heavy heart, she happens to be my good fling. You are my first love, although you are my second wife. Things happen for a reason, no second guess in life. I'm still learning though, that's why I question life. And in the same breath I walk in purpose.
You know, I said to you, when you have cats, regardless of how they were created, when they see you, they don't see you first. They see your aurora. That's what they call aurora. They see your energy. And they see it vibrantly in colors before they see you. They see things you cannot see. Just wanted to add on to your fresh start this AM. Together we radiate divine light as they spray chemicals continue to shine bright. No intention is what we. Yeah, I was moving stuff around, but look at him. He's laying on it. Despicable realities of others is fictional. Daughter of the great mother, don't ever be predictable. No matter how much things seem inexplicable, I'm not going nowhere. I'll always be here with you. You're just beginning, do you know? No one's ever been limits to potential. No got a little cool. Look like it might want to rain. I'm not sure. Man-made rain. Structural incoherence in music, the house of Heru and its acoustics. You're the cause of why when I see water, no coincidence that Sharice is she rise. Crazy how I phrase these words so subtly. The annals of sheep, yours truly, turtle sheep. We must return to what we always are, to the knowledge that we are divine children in a divine one verse, playing a divine game of love for the divine beloved, as love, in love, and for love. Thus, the tender words we say to each other are stored in the sacred soul of the cosmos. One day, like rain, they will fall and spread, and our story will grow green over the world. Akichiwa. Akichiwa. Let's go ahead and get it in. I just want to read something before I get into the book. I have notes, but I'm going to go ahead and just read. He's laying on a book, so I guess I got to read from here. And I'm not going to move it from him. So, and let me pull it up. And I have a lot of Tanakh, not Talmud, not Torah, not all that Tanakh. Okay? I have a lot of scriptures from there. Very beneficial. And I just want to read this. And that's why it's imperative and important for you not to have fear. Everyone has choices, and I'm not going to say that no more. And don't be reprobate. Do not. And a simple way of saying reprobate, do not be continual in your same conclusion over and over and over. That is always wrong. Do not. And I'm not saying that righteous by the narrative of what they've made everybody see what righteous is. Order. It means to do those things. I don't like using the word right, but do those things that are natural and be able to discern what is bad and what is good. The Creator made it so we can have sex. Regardless of the story told, the lie. That way, when you do it, you feel dirty. He didn't make it that. He made us to multiply.
regardless of what may have taken place. But it was like that from the foundation. Why would he make such an immense earth? Now, if you want to marginalize it to a spinning spherical ball, heliocentric, then ergo stick in your religion of a false narrative. But this earth, we can multiply it 10 quadrillion times over and never put a speck on it. And know this, no matter what they're doing, they will never succeed. And this is a fact. I'm not saying it on some religious kind, because I'm not far from it, but I'll have to explain it. You should already know this. Regardless of what may be and what may not be, it was never meant. Enoch 1:9, quatrain or chapter and verse. And the Most High be expressed through through Uriel. Behold, he comes with the myriads, thousands, myriads of his holy ones to execute a judgment on all and to destroy all the Jannah. It's my word, but it means wicked, I think. And to convict all flesh for all the dark or wicked deeds that they have done, and the proud and hard words that wicked evildoers or sinners or whatever word you want to use spoke against him. He got off the book. I'm going to read this to you so you have a little clearer understanding. It might be over here on I have the Apocrypha PDF. Words a little different, but it's the same. Enoch 1:9. But with the righteous he will make peace, and will protect the elect, and mercy shall be upon them, and they shall all belong to the Creator of creation, and they shall be prospered. That means whatever's been taken, it will be enumerated. And they shall, so don't think money and houses and riches and all, do not do that. That's what the church, this black church is a folly of itself. All be blessed. There's another word for it. We'll say blessed, but blessed means be blessed. It would be more. It would be grand. And he will help them all. It means he will do as was stated. But the thing is, it's already established. It's within you. And light shall appear upon them. And he will make peace with them. And behold, he cometh with tens of thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all ungodly, if you want to use that term. Okay? That means everything against man and woman. Everything against the sentient creatures beings we are. And to convict all flesh of all thy works of their ungodliness. Everything against all of us, which they have ungodly against man and woman, against woman and man committed. And of all the hard things which, again, ungodly, vile, Jannah, sinners, evildoers have spoken against him. So when these youngins don't know that when they kill one another, they're killing themselves. Doesn't matter how they came to be or whatever. It doesn't matter how the story is laid out. You can read this stuff and self-interpret it, but be mindful and be careful. Because, as I stated, how they wrote it, and there's a reason why they kept it out of the canonized books and everything else. Just like people still want to believe in dinosaurs, no, dragons. But they have a problem in looking at iguanas and lizards and gators and crocodiles and so on. Pterodactyls were nothing but flying dragons. For the flesh has desires that are opposed to the source, and the spirit has desires that are opposed to the flesh. One and the same. I just wanted to go ahead and give you that. In here, Enoch 1, right down here. But I always say, if you're going to read it from its beginning. So that way you have a clearer understanding. But be mindful to be careful. And that's why linguistics are very important. It is important to know what words you're utilizing so you can at least get closer to the appropriate or proper word and the appropriate enunciation. Because they put many traps, and that's against you as well. To take your ancient life, your stories, and to create chaos to establish themselves by taking your energy and you putting it forth to them in ignorance. Okay? Let's go ahead. I want to read this, man. This is going to be Heaven Bearers, The New Age of Deception by Janine Helen. Man, this is a good one. This is a good one. All right, let's get it in. So I ate my 1 meal, so I'm going to have Cashapp with blueberries this evening. I wish I was here to enjoy and partake in it. I'm going to have to order some more, but we'll wait. There's no telling what may be going on with it, all right? Recapitulation. Heaven Bearers, the Great Reset of 1934, and the Mud Flood. Now we get into the sauce of it. When we last finished, we finished off with Knowledge is Power by Francis Bacon. I hope that y'all went and looked it up and probably saved it. I think there's a mem that, or no, it's actually, you'll be able to PDF download it, I believe. Ah, here we go. The town square is packed with people of all. Hey, Snoo, what's up? Hey, Delusions, Marcus, who's all up in here? I really enjoy when you all speak and say hi and greetings. So let's get into it. The town square is packed with people of all ages and races. The Tartarians have accepted the Phoenicians and humans as their equal. After all, their beloved new queen is married to one. It is midsummer. The sun is shining brightly. The air is fresh and the wind is completely still. There is happiness, awe, and excitement in the air. Everywhere, and even the clouds have formed neatly in the sky for this important day. She takes her position next to her husband, and they each hold one of the twins firmly in their arms. Amelia and Emil are only 3 months old, and Bonnie is about to be sworn in as queen of the great new empire of Tartaria and protector of the earth. She is wearing a simple yet elegant champagne-colored gown with long sleeves and a low-cut neckline. She is wearing a shiny, cushion-cut purple stone around her neck, and her hair is neatly styled up so that only a few strands shape her pretty face. The top of her head glistens bright as the light touches the diamond tiara she is wearing. It is the exact same one she wore on her union day to Malcolm, and it belonged to his mother. She is beaming with excitement and purpose. She waves to her people, and they cheer with joy and hope, and it echoes all across the city. Queen Bonnie! The crowd cheers gratefully, and her eyes scan over them as they wave and gesture for her attention. She can see so many happy faces that she doesn't recognize at all, shouting out to her, wanting her attention, and she feels completely overwhelmed. Malcolm gives her a gentle and reassuring smile and takes Emil from her arms so that the proceedings can begin. Cassiel stands up, walks to face the crowd, and holds up his hands to calm and quiet them down. It takes a few minutes until there is complete silence, and he waits patiently for them to settle down. He proceeds to take the staff of the elders from the mahogany table. This is just rehashing where we dropped off. Okay? Covered with a silver linen cloth, and he holds it up with pride. The crowd starts to cheer uncontrollably at the mere sight of it, and he hands it to his new queen. My queen, Bonnie, wife of Malcolm Harrington and ruler of the great Tartarian Empire. He places it gently into her hands and gives her a respectful grin and slightly bows his head, curtsy, in complete submission to her. Bonnie gracefully accepts the staff from him, and it lights up slowly. Each stone shines a bright blue, and the illumination causes the crowd to keep dead quiet as they stare in awe and relish in all its glory. She takes a deep breath and can feel Malcolm in her mind. You look absolutely stunning in that dress, Bonnie. I can't wait to take it off of you later. She gives him a reprimanding look, and he winks back at her. Her smile is stretching from ear to ear. She has everything she could have ever wanted and much more. I do love this man, she mutters, just loud enough for him to hear, and she takes 3 steps forward to address the crowd. Thank you, Tartaria. She waits a moment for the crowd to settle down a little bit more and feels their infectious smiles penetrate her soul. Thank you all for coming today and accepting me as your new queen. She looks over at Cassiel, and he takes a step forward with a big smile and stops in position, slightly behind her. The crowd starts to cheer again, and he relishes every moment. Cassiel has always wanted to rule. He dreamt of this day since he was a little boy, and deep down inside, it saddens him that he isn't standing next to her as her husband, but merely her advisor. He places his hand on her lower back, and with the other, he waves to the crowd. He can feel Malcolm's eyes bore into him, but he ignores them completely. He can't have her, but this doesn't mean he won't try his luck from time to time. Cassiel suddenly drops his hand from her back and flexes his fingers, and his smile softens lightly. Malcolm chuckles to himself and can't help but grin. He knows Bonnie wasn't having any of it and must have given him a slight electric shock. I stand before each one of you today, whether you are Tartarian, Phoenician, or human, and I declare that we are all equal citizens of the great empire of Tartaria. We shall all share in her good fortune and her riches, and I declare peace and harmony, which will be achieved as a matter of all of the will of our hearts. She swallows hard suddenly and gazes in silence for a moment. We have achieved a new covenant with Mother Nature, and I look forward to a healthy and trusting relationship with her. Her eyes flash gold, and the memories of that dreadful day replay in her mind. To the covenant. I don't want to be too loud. There's a lot of people outside. You can get all dramatical, right? The crowd cheers in unison, and the strength of their cheer gives her goosebumps. They run all the way down her spine, and she has never felt so much purpose in all her life. She is proud and amazed at the love and trust that is radiating from the people that stand before her. We must, however, not forget how we reached this point. We lost many good and innocent souls, fathers, mothers, siblings, children, and loved ones. Her voice breaks with emotion, and she needs to clear her throat. I implore each of you to bow your heads now, as we remember them and together share a minute of silence. She bows her head, and the crowd follows her lead and bow their heads without hesitation. She is thinking about her father in this very moment, and she can't help but wish he was here today. She can feel Malcolm comfort her thoughts, and she raises her head again. Citizens of Tartaria, the war is not over. I wish I had better news, but I do not. I cannot claim to know the day or the hour, nor can I tell you whether it will be soon or in many years to come. But the angel of death has escaped through the firmament, and I know he will return one day and try to lay siege to our new empire, our home. She takes a deep breath and scans all the faces in the front row. He will not succeed again. Not this time, so let him come. The crowd cheers hysterically, and the sound echoes back and forth like ocean waves crashing up against a rock wall at the edge of the shoreline. Bonnie, it is time. Cassiel gestures for her to get down onto one knee so she can take her oath. He takes the staff from her and holds it out in front of her. Please place your hand here, my queen, and repeat after me. She places her right hand gently onto the staff of the elders and makes full eye contact with him. His eyes draw her in completely, and time stands still. Images flash before her eyes, and she knows that destiny was real. She was meant to be his, and she doesn't understand why destiny didn't succeed. What stopped it, she wonders, and quickly shakes the thought away. I, Queen Bonnie Harrington, the duly elected ruler, do hereby swear my allegiance to the Empire of Tartaria. I promise to never lie, cheat, or deceive in any way or form, and await a slow and painful death if I break my oath. She suddenly pulls her eyes away from Castiel. She feels nauseous and wants to puke. There is a presence among them. She can't see or feel who it is, but she can feel him or her, and she knows that this presence is pure evil. She tries to regain her composure and musters up a smile, but it feels fake. Someone will betray you. This is what her father told her, and she now knows that he is right. There is someone here that will betray her, and her body tenses up because she knows there will be someone who she will trust and not suspect. She can feel Malcolm focus his gaze at her. He is trying to read her thoughts, but she blocks him out completely and pretends her mind isn't wandering. They finish the proceedings, and she stands up proudly next to Castiel. They wave one more time, and in that moment, she is very glad to have him share the responsibilities with her, although not officially. He loves his people, and he would die for them. And this is what he is needed to rule the empire well, and most importantly, fairly. Malcolm and Bonnie leave New York and go back home to their mansion in Montreal. They have spent 2 weeks there, and she looks forward to the change of scenery. Bonnie doesn't want to live anywhere else, and Montreal is home, and it always will be. She kicks off her shoes, and Jane suddenly appears from nowhere and helps her with Amelia. Thank you, Jane. It has been a long day, she says as she hands Amelia to her. She is fast asleep, and she can't help but smile at her angelic little face. Malcolm follows Jane upstairs with Amelia, and they put them both to bed. Bonnie walks over to the kitchen and makes a pot of mint tea and makes it with her upstairs. If you don't behave yourself. She runs a hot bath while she sips the tea and climbs in. The warm water feels good. It relaxes her body, and she stares at the light bulb up on the ceiling and grins. She closes her eyes and relishes the moment and the fact that they won. At least the first round. Over the past few months, they changed many of the repurposed buildings back to what they were originally built for. Unfortunately, much of the knowledge has been lost, but they are working hard to learn all that they can from all the different books in the libraries that managed to survive all these years. The library in the mansion proved to be very helpful, and the big book, by the way, the one that was stored in the glass case, is full of knowledge about the harnessing of free energy. They have translated some of it, but not all, at least yet. They have figured out how to produce a basic form of free energy, enough to light up the houses and automate some things. And they plan on harnessing all forms of energy in the future, and she allows her mind to imagine what Tartaria will be like then. Excitement runs through her body, and she can feel it radiate and dissipate into the water. Malcolm walks into the bathroom and interrupts her thoughts. He walks straight to the bathroom sink and washes his face, but he doesn't join her in the bath. He changes his clothes and goes straight to bed. She takes her time and eventually joins him in bed as well. His back is turned towards her, the exact same way he used to be when he wanted to avoid her, and she knows something is bothering him. She strokes his back with her fingertips, but he pretends to be asleep, and she decides to leave him be. He will talk to her about what is on his mind when he is ready. She lies on her back and closes her eyes, thinking about all the things she wants to achieve as queen. She wakes up in the middle of the night, and she is soaking wet. She is as pale as her white bed sheets, and she can't breathe. She isn't crying, but she is terrified. She tries to call out, but she can't make a single sound, and she tries to reach out to Malcolm with her hand. She flops her hand on his back, and her clumsiness wakes him. He ignores her for a moment, but can sense something is wrong. He turns around and sees the look on her face. Bonnie, what is wrong? He sits up and looks down at her while she gasps for air. She still can't breathe, and Malcolm realizes she is turning blue from the lack of oxygen. He pulls her up and over him and starts to rub her back. This isn't helping, so he applies more pressure and gently thumps her head with a flat hand. Gives her a good wallop. Breathe, Bonnie. Calm down and take a deep breath. He presumes she had a nightmare or a possible panic attack and keeps rubbing her back, as he states. Her gasps, are getting more desperate and painful as she tries to grab onto the air around her, and she clutches his arm, digging her nails into it. He remembers the day she choked on the piece of chicken at dinner, and he takes her into his arms just like he did then. He holds her tight, the hemlock, with her in an upright position and uses his full might to try to dislodge whatever is stuck in her throat. She completely stops breathing and goes limp in his arms. He drops her to the floor and gives her mouth to mouth, but nothing is helping. His eyes turn luminous green, and he pounds down hard onto her chest. Bonnie, you need to breathe. He nervously calls out to her while he gives her chest compressions and watches her body move mechanically as he pushes down onto her. Her eyes turn gold and it illuminates her face. She has black marks all over her neck, and there is white foam at the edge of her mouth. He looks at her motionless face and doesn't know what to do. He stops giving her chest compressions and puts his hand on her cheek. She is still warm. So he pulls his hand away suddenly and realizes she is burning up. She feels as hot as coals from a fresh fire. He remembers what she told him, that it isn't so easy for her to die. She explained what happened the day she thought she died. How the soil completely filled her throat and lungs. But she didn't choke. The Jeep is going by. Hold on. Christopher, what's going on? Hope he didn't say it like that. Why? What's going on, beloved? He's pulling out. The air conditioner over there yesterday was broken. Hey, and baby girl saw the grand ascension, honey. He picks her up and puts her into the bath and lets cold water run over her pale and lifeless body. He pushes her head under and doesn't know what he is doing. And he watches her face, and the black marks on her neck start to turn blue, and he realizes the marks are actually words. He doesn't recognize the language. It is not Tartarian. The gold color in her eyes fades, and her eyes become dull and blank, and the look of them makes him throw himself back against the wall in horror. We're rehashing where we left off before we get into it. Bonnie, he sits, and I'm not going to get all dramatic. There's people out there, and I'll be dang if I'm going to be like monologuing this. Anyway, he sits on the floor and can't move or think. He stays there until the morning and doesn't move a single muscle. He is in shock and is utterly devastated. This time, she is dead, and he couldn't save her. Jane knocks on the door. Mr. and Mrs. Harrington, is everything okay in there? She asks politely, not wanting to disturb them. They didn't come down for breakfast or check on the twins, and she thought their behavior was odd. She knocks again and listens carefully for any sound. She gets no response and decides to walk in. No, she cries out and sees Malcolm seated on the floor and Bonnie lying dead in the bathtub. She is lying flat on the bottom of it and her eyes are still wide open. Okay, my belt buckle is killing me with the gun, anyway. My apologies. Jane rushes over to her and pulls her out of the bathtub, lays her on the floor, and tries to get her to breathe. Malcolm sits there and rubs his hands over his eyes and face and feels completely dead inside. There is absolutely nothing you can do, Jane. She is dead. I have tried already. His voice is empty, yet raw, with anger, frustration, and hate. How did this happen? She asks him, while still staring at her lifeless face. Her expression is blank, but her lips are a blue-purple color, and she knows she choked to death, she can tell. Look at her neck, he replies and points with his right hand at it. Jane turns her head slightly to the side and notices a weird inscription on the side of her neck. What does this mean? She asks, surprised by what she is seeing. I was hoping you could tell me, he replies. His voice is a mere whisper. Jane sits down next to her and tilts her head even more to the side so she can have a good look at what is all over her neck. No, I have never seen something like this before. It isn't Tartarian. She rubs her finger over the marks, but they don't smudge. She shakes her head in confusion. The reality is starting to sink in, and she starts to cry at the sight of her dead queen. She instinctively wraps her arms around like a mother would a child and cries out in sadness. Oh, Bonnie, dear Bonnie. She holds her for a couple of moments and says nothing else. What do I do now, Jane? How do I explain this? She lays Bonnie back down on the floor and looks over at him with a completely blank expression. She has no answer. The wind starts blowing hard and the curtains are swaying in the wind. She gets up to close the window when an owl lands on the windowsill and shrieks. She jumps with fright and tries to shoo it away, but it doesn't move. It shrieks again, this time much louder, and it is so loud Jane blocks her ears. Shoo, you stupid thing, she shouts at it. She takes a hand towel from the rack and tries to smack it away. Now, if she was in the ghetto, she would have made a rat tail, put the tip in water, and the owl would have jumped and did the Watusi. But anyway, the owl digs its claws into the windowsill. I hope you don't mind ghetto reading. Into the windowsill as hard as it can and refuses to move. Owls are a bad omen. Did you know that, Jane? He asks and gets up from where he is sitting. He grabs at the owl and a single white feather falls off from its body and floats down towards the ground. His eyes watch it carefully and it lands on Bonnie. He remembers the very first night he spent with her and wonders if this is the same owl that frightened her then. Did you see that? He mutters and takes a step closer. He must have just stalled. Closer towards Bonnie. And Jane looks over at Bonnie and frowns in confusion. Mr. Harrington, shh, just look, he says and bends down watching her hand carefully. Her fingers, look at her fingers, he tells her. Jane focuses her full attention on her fingers, but she doesn't see anything. Mr. Harrington, I think you want her fingers to move, and so they are, but is it not real? No, he snaps at her. Just watch, Jane. She swallows hard and does what he asked her, albeit very reluctantly. There is a slight twitch because she thinks he's dead. There is a slight twitch in her hand, and this time Jane sees it too. Her frown suddenly appears from her face, and her cheeks fill with color. She moved. I saw it, she replies suddenly. Bonnie, wake up. Listen to my voice and come back to me. And come back to the light. Remember I did that. Malcolm leans down beside her and gives her a gentle shake. Bonnie, please wake up. Let me see those beautiful blue eyes. He stares at her, rubs her cheek, and gives her another small shake, but nothing happens. Her eyes suddenly flashes bright gold, and it is so intense, Malcolm lets go of her at once and turns his head away from the blinding light. Her head drops down onto the floor with a bang, and she doesn't make a single sound. She lies there staring up at the ceiling, and it looks like she is smiling at someone. Malcolm traces her eyes with his, but sees nothing there on the ceiling. He remembers the story she told him about when she was a baby, the night her parents were fighting about who or what she is. There is something wrong with her. She is pure evil, her mother stated. That is what her mother said at the time. He looks at her carefully and realizes she was partly right. There is something wrong with her. I had to take y'all back there. It's in the book, but I figured it'd be a great refresher. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's good to see y'all up in here. I just want to see who else is up. Mark, I got you. Herbo. I got you, Chris. I got you. Oh, what is this going on with my phone? Oh, it just shrunk on me. Okay, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and keep it going. Zone frequency healing. Check that out. We're going to go into the prologue. We're going to read every bit of this. Okay, so the prologue. Let's get into it, which is pretty much the thing. Painful screams fill the air as they race down the dark road towards the bright light. Their destination is almost within reach, and he slows his breathing knowing it will be okay. You are doing great, Mary. Just hold on a little bit longer. He reaches his hand to the back seat, and she grabs onto it hard and squeezes his fingers with all of her might, hoping it will help with the pain, and gives off another painful scream. Alice is sitting in the front passenger seat, and she is scared, unsure what is happening, and she stares out of the window, imagining what it will all be like when he is here. Excuse me, my back pain. A small smile forms on her face, and she blocks out the screaming, allowing her body to replace the fear with excitement. She has been lonely for so long, always wondering why she didn't have anyone to play with, and now that would all finally change. Everything will be okay in a few minutes. We will be there, and the doctors will take care of everything, and you will be a big sister. He reminds her, and she turns away from the window and faces him. The words, "you will be a big sister," truly excites her. For as long as she can remember, she wanted a little brother and wished for it every year at Christmas. The years passed, her wishes were ignored. Until now. And she thinks back to the day her parents gave her the good news and everything changed. She was playing outside with her dolls, and her dad sat down next to her. He was beaming with joy, and he handed her a little toy truck. For a brief moment, she held it in her small hands and didn't know what to say. She was about to tell him she didn't like it, and then it hit her. She burst out into tears of happiness and jumped into his arms, letting him hold her tight while they both appreciated the moment that they had both longed for. "Daddy," she asked him, ever so softly, not wanting her mom to overhear the conversation. "Do you think he will like me?" she asked curiously, her big blue eyes filled with anticipation and reminding him that she is old enough to expect an honest answer. "Of course, darling girl. In fact, I bet you will look out for him and keep him out of all sorts of trouble." He chuckles at the thought, his eyes focused on the road ahead of them, and the two of you will be as thick as thieves. I haven't heard that saying in a long time. Just like me and Uncle Robbie. Alice understands his meaning and braces herself against the armrest as he makes a sudden sharp to the left. The tires screeching against the tar road as he finally enters the hospital grounds and stops at the emergency entrance. He rips open the car door and runs up to an elderly lady dressed in blue and frantically gestures something to her. "My wife, she is in labor. Please help us." The lady turns around and disappears inside the building, only to quickly return with a wheelchair and another nurse. Alice watches as they open the car door and takes her mother inside, and she waits patiently for her father to come back and fetch her, eventually falling asleep on the front passenger seat. Everything becomes a blur as Mary tries to keep her eyes open. She can see the concerned look on her husband's face and tries to tell him it will be okay, but the words don't form as expected. Instead, she clutches his hand and stares into his light blue eyes until a bright light appears out of nowhere, and she knows that the time has arrived. "Okay, Mary, it is time, and you need to push." The coarse voice is Mel, and she doesn't recognize it, but she follows its commands. She pushes as hard as she can, and it causes her to scream out in pain. Her senses are on overdrive, and her skin is warm. Every sound and smell is dull and drowned out, which only accentuates the pain even more. Thousands of tiny needles prick her flesh, focusing their rage on her abdomen, and she wants it to end. I guess, ladies, y'all know what that is all about. "Very good. You are doing great. Another push." I wanted to punch the doctor when I was there when my baby was born. Anyway, excuse me. The same voice asks, with a little more urgency this time, and she can feel movement between her wobbly legs. She gives another hard push and clenches her teeth at the excruciating pain, the force at which she bites down, causing her to almost chip a tooth. She wants this all to be over and reaches out her hand, excuse me, I had to burp, and her husband, but he is not there. One more push, Mary, we are so close. One last scream sounds out of her exhausted mouth, and then there is complete and dignified silence. All sound is replaced with relief, except for the soft cries of a newborn baby that echoes out, and the pain disappears. And we're going to stop right there. So remember, this is a prologue. If you don't know what it is, look it up. I'm just going to highlight it. Where's the yellow? There it is. I don't want to mess this book up too bad. Though this is a reader. So, there we go. There we go. Perfect. I hope that was a good read. Man, look, I had, like I told you what I ate, but I had beans, so I had gas, y'all. So excuse me, and I'm fighting it and the yawning, because you know around this time I get a little tired. Nap, you know what I mean? So I hope y'all enjoyed it. I wasn't going to read what we read the other day. I was just going to go into the prologue and carry it on. But it says, no, I want to get your juices flowing, because the prologue is going to take us into the book. Now, you heard the last, right? Now we go into the direction. And this is where we start getting into deception. But first we have to have a format, which is going to tell a story. So I've already, they would call it brief read, a speed read, just going over things. And it gets, and this one gets good. Oh, wow. It gets good. Al is doing frequency healing. Yes, baby. That's where you retarded, man. Malcolm, little faith in body. She's chosen, that's why. It's hard for the chosen ones to die. I was going to read more, but no, because I want to read in the AM. I want to read. We're going to get back into the 100 years of lynching. I just wanted to get your mind, your clock, click ticking. And we're going to get some more. Behold the Pale Horse and the Negro Project. But I really wanted to entertain y'all with a little more reading into the second book, because it's just viable and it really gets good. A great sense of humor shows great intelligence. Mm-hmm. Everything's good. Yeah, well, I gotta act parts without being too feminine and too masculine. I need to be broken. I know it was joking, but I just need to be focused on what is being said. And this is a read I already had done. But this part right here is pretty much going to lay a foundation. It's going to explain a lot. It's whoa. You know what I mean? Like, whoa. Yeah. The Herbo, it's good to see you, beloved. But my soul is also in Cali. Soul is soul. I know that's right. There's why I'm here. Every so often it doesn't do that. Well, no, it was pausing it. Oh, they were doing that. Well, that's because I'm not gonna give them no energy though. I hope y'all was still able to hear the read, and I hope you was able to enjoy it. When I read the next, I'm gonna read about a good 3 pages to really get you in depth, so that way you're not gonna come with a conclusion. You already know what's the foundation of Heaven Bearers, but I really want you to she really did a job on this one. I can't wait for book 3. And I know she's not rushing it, because she has a plethora. I actually ordered 2 of her books just for my personal collection, and I really want to get into the Ringing Cedars, but we have a lot of books, and I just want to keep it going. There's some books I want to go back to. So, Baby Girl Slaughter, we're gonna get together. We haven't discussed it. We talked a little bit, and we're really gonna, because I'm gonna break. It's not a whole lot of breaking it down, because he's the foundation. I just want to kind of piggyback on the work he's done. Stuff that has been discussed for decades, and most people have totally ignored. And the fact that it's based on sources and references of information. I had somebody hit me up talking about, so Klein, Schaust, and Kaiser. So, oh, so you do got some white in you. I was like, we got some ignorant brothers and sisters. Those names are established here, y'all. Now, Margaret Maggie Klein is my great-great-grandmother. Henry Lucifer Schaus is my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. Okay? So anyway, they have broken the world up and made everybody think that those names that they've hijacked belong over to one place. Not the case. Because those were melanated, and they were our brethren. As I stated, Europe was found by an Algonquin, a whole facet of Assad, if you want to look at Atlantis. Okay, there's another word for Atlantis, but we'll stay with the Strongham term. And they were fleeing, and they came back here, as I stated. Those that married into my family were always known, and they were dark. Okay? So, I know it's conflicting and confusing, but as far as Kaiser, that name was always in my family, going way back. And I know. Okay? Oh, it's excellent. It's an excellent read. It's really, really good. And tomorrow, I will do it tomorrow morning. I'm just going to read a little bit, those 4 pages of William Cooper's Behold the Pale Horse. I think it's paramount, because I know you're seeing it more and more where this entity is doing more and more things against the people. It is taking their so-called fiat, and it is doing everything it can is to break it, because they are with the agenda. They are not with the country. They are, everything they state, every law they create, everything they do is moot. And people are starting to realize this. I know some of you have seen the video of the Air Force guy, 16-year sergeant or whatever, who refused to get the jab, and all these little young knuckleheads went in there and snatched him up, handcuffed him, just because he didn't want to get the job. Wait a minute. So that should illuminate a light of the perverse. Now, is it something deeper than that? Well, if you look at the man who worked with the Clintons, engineer, whatever, and he bought the guns and sold them, regardless, that was a legal thing that could be done. The ATF stated that they didn't have body cameras because they didn't wear armored plates. Yet in the video, when they take the tape prepared already to cover the camera, they went in there as a hit team, an assassination team. And people are starting to see it more and more and more. And you can see these are guys who are in the military or trained or underground, and they went there to execute him. It's going all over the place. Oh, hey, whatever, man. What I'm stating is, a lot of things are coming out in the wash, and they're doing their best to clean it up, I guess, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we don't use white, brother. We say light skin. That's the appropriate thing. We don't use crayon colors, beloved. But yeah, light-skinned immigrants was coming over here and taking people's last names. I noticed that too. I'm looking. Yes, they were. And like I said, Theodore Albert Herzl and all those guys were Arabs by the new definition. A Gujar is what we say. They're not even Ashkenaz. It's identity theft all the way around. They are the same people you see who conquered the original people of Turkey, the Ottoman Empire. They're the people who conquered Iran. And their relatives, as you say, Gog and Magog, or those who helped them conquer Japan, New Age Japan, which is the islands I knew, the land of Xi, which became China, because they didn't build, how the fake Hollywood, the fake narrative of they built the Great Wall, they didn't build that, we built that. It stretched all the way through Texas, Louisiana, through Africa, it went through everywhere, which Akbulan. And they conquered everywhere, and the ones that turned out a different way, they didn't like them. That's why they didn't like the Scots and the Irish, and they just said, well, and the Slavs, even though that's kind of what they wanted to say. They came through a Stargate. Some stories I've heard. I got a story to tell, and that's not what happened. But regardless of that, you had a lot of melanated people, and they're children, because you have centuries of this stuff going on, who are amalgamated. That's why I brought up the issue of the Air Force and a 16-year veteran and these new boots going there to tackle him. choke him out, put handcuffs because he didn't want to get the jab. Make it make sense. I was talking to some friends who got out the war, right? 8 years, they can be recalled. I says, the only want to do is get you back in there, and they're going to tell you they're not giving you the jab, and they're going to give you the jab. And as a group of them said, no, we've been convening. We know how they probably want to do it. Have us all in a certain place, have the certain deep state soldiers there, no weapons or anything. And he says, it's not going to play out like that. Okay. If they want to do a draft and they're calling y'all back and they're saying this thing exists and nobody knows about it, like they don't have no power over you, and until they realize that, well, it's going to be what it's going to be, you know. Nice, yeah. Oh, that's cool, bro. That's all right. Oh, we got to change the energy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you gonna Pixie Gates, Ganja, you retarded. The proper term is actually crackers. Crackers are a little white with a little brown on it, but it's opaque. It's what do they call it? Beige, kind of a light beige. But yeah, they're just light skinned. That's all. Unless they still suffer from albinism or leprosy, which they kind of don't. You know, video about the Khazarian mafia was very yeah. But see, that's what people have an issue because they say that. You know, they say Ham's the progenitor of dark races. We're going to use the narrative, right? But not the Negro. They wanted to be careful with us. But then Shem birthed in not just us, but we have our light-skinned brothers too. But the majority was us. But Yaphet birthed in a kind of a sickly, that's why he had so many offspring. Him and then his wives. And he was sleeping with some of his children. He had so many, more than Ham and more than Yaphet. And y'all should know the story. And there was no great power. It was just those that were selected, the elect. And we've been betrayed. And you would think that all these people reading the Bible, like if you go to GBN on YouTube, right, this Christian whatever channel, they're supposed to be godly people, right? Well, they're not. And they're behind Ukraine, behind the Jews in Israel. And it's like the hypocrisy is deep. But these people worship something else. I don't like getting into the terms of Satan and Lucifer and all that bull crap. That's misdirection. When you say it was Satan and Lucifer, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Satan, no, man, no. And then when I saw that was over 6,000 names, people were like, yo, where you find this information? I'm like, well, y'all, the video's back there somewhere. I'm not going through all them videos online. Check it out for yourselves. I read off a handful of the names, and the list was like a book of names. And you would sit there going, wow, yeah, man. And remember, there's no stars. They're luminaries. They do not change pace or move. They are stationary. They're put in position. There's an order to them. Everything has an order. You know what I'm saying? And in order for you to believe all the nonsense and walk away from your truth of existence, being ye gods, lacking faith, that means knowledge of self. Faith, knowledge of self, knowing. You see what I'm saying? It's the position of the predicament we are in. That's why they push the gay agenda and all this he, she stuff and all this pronoun and all this. And that's doing this big pandemic because you see all these things. WHEN, WHO, whatever, right? Whatever. Freaking alphabet soup. But anyway, telling you what you will and what you won't do as if that's going to fly. It's about weapons and death. They're warlike. There's no rationale or reasoning to them. You know what I'm saying? This earth is infinite. And here they are, just a diseased people. Beyond that, of things. They're not even in the same league as you. That's why you think they do blood work and all that. They take all that blood and they test it. They want to see anomalies and things that are wrong. So that way they can say nobody is 100%. Lies. They're all lies. They've convinced themselves and they're held to a certain standard that they don't even know. That's why I say what I say. Because I know some things. you have that ability to know things and do things as well. Okay? Remember that. We're at the hour mark. Let me sign off. I appreciate y'all taking the time to listen. And y'all already know, and you know my Cash App and all that stuff. So I didn't go to the post office. I don't even bother. The books are there. They'll be there Monday. And I appreciate y'all. And I know, I think one of them or two of them showed up because I got a notification, Gmail, Thrive Books, and so I don't care. They'll be there when I get them. All right? And so we will read in the AM. I don't care what I hear of, what somebody shares with me, we're going to be reading. I know what grinds my gears or whatever. That's just for you guys, I will give some tea probably. That's a whole lot. But I appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to this old fogey. And I ate my first meal and only meal, like I said, around 7 o'clock, I'm going to have a Cashapp with blueberries. So it's chocolate and blueberry. I like the flavor. It meshes real well. And a little cinnamon. And it's really, really good. Timonius, ganja, people have had, when I make my Cashapp, my juices and stuff, and they'll express to you that they're phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? I was being sarcastic too. Remember humor and talk. Yeah, I know. That's my blood brother. Is he in here too? I didn't see Kiramio in here. Yeah, he's not here. Okay. Anyway, appreciate you guys. See you on the AM. I'm about to peel this off. I'm going back outside. The sun's right there where I can go and gaze at it for about 5 minutes. Come back on in. I love the sun setting late. Kick off these Timberlands. Put on some shorts. I might even crash out down here. I might pull a ganja. You know what I'm saying? And I'll see y'all in the AM. Okay? Appreciate donations. I'm not checking everything. All that's turned off. I don't want to see it. I'll just check it Monday or Tuesday, and I appreciate you guys, all right? And I really hope y'all enjoyed that read, because we're in a new chapter. It's in a new place, all right? Oh, and I hope the information in the beginning by Enoch 19, I hope it was something that can assist and help, all right? Y'all have a grand day and a grand evening. My baby girl, you crazy.